74 people were killed and 85 wounded in a matter of moments, all while watching a football match. On the 11th of July, 2010, crowds had gathered at 2 locations in Kampala, the capital of Uganda, to watch a screening of the FIFA World Cup Final. Then the bombs went off. This was one of the deadliest attacks East Africa had seen, and it marked a turning point, a Somali insurgency reaching across borders to strike civilians in another country far from its home battlefield. The coordinated suicide bombings were claimed by Al-Shabaab, an Islamist militia based in Somalia with ties to Al-Qaeda. The group said the blasts were retaliation for Uganda's support of AMISOM, the African Union peacekeeping mission fighting Al-Shabaab inside Somalia. In other words, Ugandans watching a football final were targeted for their government's role in a war hundreds of kilometers away. Al-Shabaab, whose full name is Harakat al-Shabaab al-Mujahideen, is a transnational Salafi jihadist organization at the heart of the ongoing Somali civil war. It controls scattered territory across southern Somalia, mostly rural areas, ruling them almost like a quasi-state. The group has invoked Takfir, the practice of declaring other Muslims unbelievers, to justify its attacks on Somali civilians and civil servants. Beyond Somalia, it operates in a more limited way across East Africa, allied with Al-Qaeda and linked to other insurgent groups including AHIM and ACAP. It has been designated a terrorist organization by the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada, among many others, and remains under sanctions from the United Nations Security Council and the European Union. The attack fits into a broader story. Islamism describes a range of movements holding that Islam should shape political systems, emphasizing the implementation of Sharia pan-Islamic unity and the creation of Islamic states. One observer, the author Robin Wright, has argued that Islamist movements have altered the Middle East more than any trend since those states gained independence, redefining politics and even borders. The Kampala bombings were a violent expression of how far that reach could extend. Justice moved slowly. It was not until March 2015 that the trial began at the High Court of Uganda, with 13 Kenyan, Ugandan, and Tanzanian suspects accused of carrying out the attacks. The Kampala bombings signaled that Al-Shabaab was no longer a purely Somali problem. By striking a neighboring capital, the group announced its willingness to punish any nation that joined the fight against it, turning regional peacekeeping into a trigger for cross-border terror. That threat has shaped security across East Africa in the years since, as governments weigh the cost of confronting an enemy that answers intervention with attacks on ordinary people. That's it for this one. Watch this next. Why 2010 was Spain's first World Cup win in 80 years.